there's been some budget cuts, so you've ended up with me instead.
So I broke my finger on a member of staff's groin.
I seized it up. I'm like, that's it. Engine's done. I see a lick of flame come out of the bonnet. And then I've never moved so fast in my life. I was like, you said they were next to the driver's door. And he went, yeah, your car's left on drive.
Crazy, and all like next thing. And I get a phone call on the park. Oh, your car's about to be pushed by the crowd.
Hello and welcome to Talk Up, the automotive podcast where we tell stories, some that we should and some we maybe shouldn't. My name's Corey from Midnight Lanks.
I'm Tim from Carspunk.
I'm Misha from Midnight Lanks.
And today we're joined by Chris Nasser from the Built Camaro.
Hi guys, thanks for letting me on.
Welcome.
Welcome to the
Good
podcast.
to have you.
As you can see, Henry's not here this month. There's been some budget cuts, so you've ended up with me instead. Sucks to be you guys. What's everyone been up to this month?
So I've just got back from Jap Fest, which was really, really good fun. It's been a bit chaotic this past week or so because I've bought a new car. And yeah, as you can guess, it's another sleeker. So bought a T-Sport. We're on like number 4 or 5 now. So it's just been building that up in the space of like 5-6 days to get it to Jap Fest, looking kind of okay because it was completely stocked. So yeah, it's kind of took over my life for the past like week or so. But Jap Fest was amazing. Really busy, a little bit chaotic, but overall, really good show. How about yourself, Tim?
E30's all MOT'd and ready to roll. Other than that, I went to Aintree and got absolutely wasted. So I've been recovering from that.
Oh, and you've also had an injury, haven't you?
Yeah, we're not going to bring that.
Yeah.
So I broke my finger on a member of staff's groin. So yeah, that's
Someone
wonderful.
called safeguarding.
We're just going to leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave that there.
We'll leave that there. Leave it to the imagination.
So yeah, it's painful and embarrassing.
What about you, Corey?
I've been off work for the past 3 weeks with an injury, so I've been chilling in bed. Not been doing much, to be honest. Been sleeping till the afternoon, and you woke me up today, so...
Yeah, you went for a nice stroll.
I did, yeah. I went for a
in the hours of
7-hour
this
walk
morning.
last night from 11 p.m. to like 6 a.m.
You see the sun?
What?
I did see... No, I didn't see the sunrise, actually. I was in my friend's house for that.
Oh.
We ended up going around to my friend's house. He was drinking with one of his friends. We went there at like 2:30 in the morning and left at 6. So the sun was already up.
Right.
Well, yeah. You been up to much, Chris?
I have been up to much. Well, I've not. No, I lie. I've not been up to much, but I am getting up to much. But I've been preparing really. So preparing for Germany that I've not mentioned about. So I'm going to Germany next week. A bit of a tour, and we're also preparing for door slammers.
Door slammers.
So door slammers is a big one. Racing, and the car is finally done. And sat there waiting to go, and I didn't drive it. In fact, the last time I drove it, you told me to park it there, and then that was the last time I drove it. I'd not been out in it since, but we'll talk about that soon.
What is door slammers?
So it's a Santapod race event, so it's a full-out competition event. You race for money. Originated in the 50s. So door slammers' name actually came from trying to eliminate all these pro street top fuel drag cars that don't have doors, so you have to have a door that literally opens and shuts. That's where the name came from, and it's just come from there, really.
Never heard of it. A
lot of people haven't. It's really weird. It's
I've never heard
huge.
of
It's the
that.
biggest cash prize event at Santapod do. So there's £100,000 cash at the event. It gets split up into like six or 7 groups. And the biggest cash prize winner is a big bracket. You can own. It's 20 grand.
Flipping out.
But I'm in the baby group. I'm in True Street, so keep it real with True Street.
What can you win for that?
So True Street, there's a 10 grand pot.
Oh,
Basically.
all right then.
10 grand, I mean, for just doing a quarter-mile strip if it holds together. So a 10 grand pot. So that splits up into 3 or 4, I think. So first gets a big chunk of it, second gets the next chunk of it, third, fourth, and so on. And it does depend on how many people enter. So at the minute there's about 8, but usually you get a lot of last-minute entries on the day, and they rock up because they don't know whether the race car is going to be ready. So booking on early. Some people don't do it.
There you go, Dom. Get the panda in.
Yeah.
Anybody's
You'll
welcome.
smash it. You're in it, big boy league.
Absolutely love that though, because it's it's a lot more fair the way that they do it, isn't it? So.
100%. There's quite a lot of rules and regulations on it. So like I mentioned, you've got to have doors that open and shut, which knocks a lot of the big guys out, like huge 50, 60,000 pound budgets, guys that people have sponsors for. It knocks them out completely because they don't have doors that shut.
Yeah.
Then you have rules and regulations about MOTs, roadworthiness, having radiators in cars as well, you know. So it does sort of open up to people like me that are on a budget. You know, I race on a budget. I have no sponsors or anything, but I love the sport and I love the event.
So it's a bit like touring cars, but for the drag strip. Because the touring cars are similar to that, aren't they? Where they have certain rules where it has to be an actual car on the road and there has to be so many put through production. And yeah, so I've never heard of it. I'm going to look into that though. What are you doing over in Germany?
So Germany's next week. So I was so tempted. I want to take the Camaro, but it's a week before Door Slammers. And
That's
knowing my luck,
that is not, that's a
playing with fire.
Yeah.
Playing with fire, literally.
Yeah.
So Germany, we're just going out for a bit of a tour around Nürburgring standard. You do what you do. So inevitably, I was like, my Audi's my daily. I literally just drive it as a daily. So I was like, on dark side developments, what can I get? It's a 3-litre V6. I was like, what can I get? What can I push it to? So a couple of weeks ago, I was like, downpipe intercooler injectors. this. There we go, 400 horsepower. Let's go, done. So I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
So although it pains me, it has got a tow bar, and I was so itching to take the Camaro on a trailer. And if it was light enough, I would do, but it's not. It's going to be overweight if I tow it with, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be a bit of a tour of Germany. There's 5 of us going. 5 cars going, 10 people. Amsterdam, usual drive down into Germany.
See, even the trip there
amazing.
and back is going to be good, isn't it?
Yes. So we're actually going from Hull as well. So we're getting the overnight ferry. So it don't even mean it's that long. It's only going to be 1,000 miles to Nürburgring. So from Hull, sleep on the ferry all the way there, and then you're halfway there. Instead of going down to Calais, because that's the biggest stretch, is from here down to Dover or whatever.
What's it like getting your cars onto ferries then? Because I've seen some of the YouTube videos, and they're like quite narrow, aren't they? Does it ever make you nervous or anything like that?
It wouldn't, Camaro. That's another thing where it's like, I don't want it to sink.
Very shaky.
Yeah. Imagine you get a storm and you're just like, if this boat goes down, that's your
Yeah.
car gone. Like, what did you ring insurance then? I mean,
yeah, actually.
I don't even know on that one. Yeah, no.
I mean, if the boat's going down and the car's going down, I think you are going with it.
Just stay in bed. At that point, yeah, stay in bed.
If the Camaro were going down, you'd be sat in it with your seatbelt on.
know,
I'm going with it.
It's ruined my life, that thing, I tell you. Everything I do is, but apart from that. But no, the train I think's worse. I think the train, when you squeeze onto the Eurotunnel, that's tight, and I've seen some cars go in there. I've never been on it personally, but I've seen some cars squeeze in there. I don't think Camaro would fit in there.
Oh, really?
No, it's like 7 foot wide.
Jeez. I bet there's a lot of curbed alloys that go through there.
Bouncing off the train as you're just going through it.
And you're just going to watch it go bang, dang, 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 dang.
Yeah, that's a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be doing that. I'm
So
coming down
you've,
with some new stripes outside from the sides of the wall.
So the daily's now become a bit of another project.
Yeah, just because of Germany. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty quick actually. In fact, I originated from diesels, so a lot of people know me from my BMW 1 Series.
Okay.
Have you seen my 1 Series?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so I put a huge engine in it, literally
wow.
so the 335 diesel engine. Came out of a 6 Series actually, but I found one and I was like, that'll fit. So I literally just took my 1 Series apart. It was pretty much brand new. Put this 335D engine in it and cranked it right up, hybrid turbos, nitrous injection on a diesel. And that's what got my name out there for building cars.
Yeah.
How the hell? Because I've got a 6 Series, the one that's over there. The engine in it's like as
Massive.
wide as the car. Have you got that in a 1 Series?
In fact, we'll find some pictures of it. The engine, as I'm putting it in, it's bigger than the car. It's like the engine's huge, 6-cylinder twin turbo diesel engine with the automatic gearbox as well. You know the ZF gearbox they do. It was huge, absolutely huge, but it fits. You've got to pull the slam panel forward and make room, but it looked factory, absolute factory.
Really?
My goal is OEM plus. So the Camaro, look at the Camaro and it's like OEM. It looks OEM plus. You don't really know what it is. My BM looked OEM plus. In fact, I took it to BMW for some just pinstriping down the side, and the techs were going mad, like, what the hell is this? The key. They have key readers, don't they? So on the desk, I was like, I gave them my key, and they scanned the key, and it came up 640D, M Sport, whatever, and it was like, it's a 6 Series. I was like, no, it's a 1 Series. But because the engine is out of the 6 Series, the key was a 6 Series as well. So 6 Series clocks, ECU, everything. So they was like, what? They were just getting confused. And the techs just wouldn't leave it alone because it looked so factory fit. You could not tell interior engine, but everything was so.
That's really good.
Yeah, so cool. Factory.
Love that. We're currently still trying to find an engine for this T5. Still off the road.
Is it?
Yeah, it's.
I got rid of mine. I just didn't like it.
Really?
No, yeah, I didn't like it when we had the one that I had, and it was just uncomfortable. I didn't get the rev, you know. I bought one just because everybody wants one and everything like that, and it just was so uncomfy to drive.
The T5 2.5 ST engines.
So we went all the way down to like the other end of the country to pick up this T5. Like it's my partner's, Tom's, and got all the way back, drove all the way back. And then it was absolutely a dream. It was absolutely fine. Got back, next time we drove it, it just wouldn't. It just kept on stalling at roundabouts, and we had done it was like 4 hours or something all the way back, and then it just stalls every time you go to a roundabout or anything. No one can figure out what it is. I think it's the heads that need replacing, but I think engine swap time, I reckon, just to be on the safe side. But
this is where Chris is going. The Lamborghini engine.
What crazy thing can we fit in it?
I do.
To be fair, you see people slap Golf R engines in them all the time.
Yeah.
And in caddies as well.
Oh, yes.
I do love.
Really?
What we're doing here then?
Slapping in the T5. Tom will be getting well excited when he watches this. Tom will be like, did you turn that down?
Caddy over there's got a Golf GTI engine in it. That was a diesel when it originated. It was, the pickup Skodas. And then I didn't even know when I bought it. And the guy goes, this is a Golf GTI engine in it. Is it? And it didn't used to be diesel. Used to be diesel.
Take my money.
It's crazy what you can fit in certain cars and vans and stuff like that. I've seen some crazy Celica builds as well with like stupid engines in them. It's like, what? Why?
You paid £1,000 for the car.
I've only just found out you bought that car. Like, what? I was like, because I've seen on your stories, that you were swapping loads of bits, and I'm like, why didn't you do that ages ago when you had time? And I just realised you just got that car and you're just swapping everything over.
Yeah, well, literally, it was kind of ready to go to Japfest because I had a 140, and then just decided to buy a T-Sport like a week before Japfest, and then just pure panic. Modify it to get it there.
It looked it.
Every single night from because I took basically the whole week off work just to get everything sorted and take it here, there and everywhere. And it was just pure chaos. Every single night I'd going to bed so late trying to swap bits and bobs over it, but it was good.
I swear I had you on the phone to me at 10:30 at night going, do you know anywhere that can put these lowering springs on for me tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not tomorrow, no.
Well, it needs to be tomorrow, so.
It has to be. Yeah.
But managed to get it all done, kind of. There's still a few bits, but.
Yeah. There were some chaotic phone calls.
Yeah.
Carnage. You are absolute carnage.
Yeah.
Car shows.
I don't know why I do it to myself, to be quite honest.
It's not the first time you've done it either.
No.
No.
It won't be last either. No.
Speaking of doing cars, I noticed on your story the other week that you went for your dyno day and it was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, speaking of playing with fire, wow. So I've not actually told this story. A lot of people have actually touched on it, and I just say, it's on fire. But it was very casual. But yeah, so we went for the dyno day for tuning, basically. So Rev, but even before that, so the Camaro used to be supercharged. I had a Pro Charger on it. It was my dream sort of to be 1,000 horsepower. Everyone's dream is 1,000 horsepower, and I never quite got there with it, and I had to screw it to get 1,000 horsepower, and we made it eventually, but it just weren't happy. It weren't happy, and it weren't, believe it or not, it weren't fast. It was very linear, so it were only 1,000 horsepower at very, very peak RPM. So I weren't happy with it, and so I was like, twin turbos. So we went twin turbos, and funny story about twin turbos, actually. I went to for them because it was cheaper to fly over to than pay import duties. So I'm walking back with suitcases full of turbo kits, and I'm talking about a full-on turbo kit, intercooler pipes, boost pipes, wastegates, manifolds, 2 big-ass turbos. I tried bringing one on the plane as my hand luggage, and she was like, just check it in. So I checked it in, and I said to her, like, what happens if they catch it at security? Like, will they come and get me and ask me what I want to do with it or what? And they went, no, they'll just take it off the plane, and they'll drag you off the plane and ask, what do you want to do with them? Do you either leave them here or come off the plane and don't fly with them? So I'm sat at the plane going, just come on, go. It was like the longest half an hour of my life, sat there waiting for the plane to take off. And then it was worse when we got to England, because you've got the big green door that says come through here for nothing to declare, and then you've got the little red door, and then the green door, there's nobody there, and I'm like, well, do I have to declare them or what? I don't really understand what's going on with it, but anyway, all receipts are in the bin. I don't have any recollection of buying these things. I just took them with me, didn't I? So I was like, we'll just go out there, So we walked through the big green door, and then there's 5 big guys on the right-hand side stood there watching everybody in. You go, and then you run to the little door exit, and one of them opens, and they let you in, and then you got to wait till it shuts behind you. So I'm assuming they can trap people. So I'm like, open, and then drag these suitcases that are like 45 kilos, 48 kilos, one of them. How I got that on the plane, I don't know, because 35 was the overweight limit as well. So 28 or 25 was our limit. Mine, the overweight limit was 35. Mine was 48 kilos. I'm like, and the woman just went, it'll be fine, just let it on. So I was like, yes. Imagine, there'd be 3 of them dragging. It was a big case as well. So moving back onto the dyno day, so we fitted these turbos anyway. Are great. Your turbo kit, bolt on. You know, it's an NA car. It's not turboed from factory or anything. NA. Take manifolds off, bolt these turbos on, and you're turboed. You're done. It took me a day to fit them. So we took it to the dyno day. It's called Motorsport Performance in Leeds. Cracking guys. Now I rent the dyno off them. So I speak to Denton, who's up there, who's the tuner, and I'm like, can I borrow your dyno, please? Can I borrow your £50,000 dyno cell to use? And he's like, So anyway, I got to know him, and then he's eventually like, sort it out. Yeah, no, here's the keypad. This is what you do, and he's fantastic. So he let me loose for a little bit. So I'm sat on dyno tuning away, thinking like I'm fantastic. Now I only learnt to tune because I want it done properly. So I've got maybe OCD, or I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as you could probably see with Camaro. So I'm like, I'm going to learn how to tune so I can tune it and make sure it's right. Because I had somebody tune it before and it wasn't right. It kept blowing egg gaskets. So I'm like, I'm going to tune it this time. So I learned how to tune basically all the HP Academy sort of stuff that you pay for. And it's literally numbers at the end of the day. You're looking at numbers, you're reading numbers, and as long as they match up, you pretty much tune it. It'd be all and end all. So first car, not dyno. So I'm tuning away. Now, because we're on turbos, you've got to watch your load that you're putting on. So the hub dyno we're on is called an eddy brake dyno, so you can lock it at any single RPM you want. So you can be at 5,000 RPM, foot flat to the floor, and it will stay at 5,000 RPM, but the car is going for it, it's properly going for it. And these brakes are just holding it back, and it gives you a horsepower reading. And it also allows you to steady state tune, probably not at 5,000 RPM, you steady state tune up to about 3,000, 4,000. So I've done an hour of this on the dyno. Now we're in a wind tunnel at 60 mile an hour. The wind tunnel's about 50, 60 mile an hour. But you're doing 140, 150 mile an hour on the dyno, so it doesn't really compute and compare. So things get hot, very hot.
Yeah.
So I'm sat there and I'm tuning away, and the car's under a lot of load, and it's raw, but I'm mapping away. It's just getting the fuel ratios right. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, you've got an emergency stop on the dyno, and it's very easy to catch. And I must have caught it by accident, and it drags the car down. It just stalls the car. It drags it down. It slams the brakes on. And it stalled. It just dragged it down. Whoa, and then, and I'm like, what have I done? I thought I'd seized it up. I'm like, that's it. Engine's done. Onto a phone to America. Let's import another one. And I'm like, so I'm sat there just going through the logs, because we log everything as we tune in. So we can always go back and reiterate what we've done. So temperatures, ignition timing, fuel ratios, we log it. So I'm just going back, and then I sort of glimpse up a little bit, and I see smoke coming out of the bonnet. Now, Camaro's got vents, like grills on the bonnet, which go straight into the engine bay. Luckily enough, I've never seen it. And I seen some smoke come up, and I'm like, yeah, I've properly seized this. I've overheated it. I've seized it up. Everything's just melting underneath there. So I'm just sat in there, not even wanting to get out of the car. And then all of a sudden I see a lick of flame come out of the bonnet. And then I've never moved so fast in my life. I literally, laptop on my knee, threw my laptop off there. All wires are hanging off, headphones are off because I'm listening for knock detection. I jump out, and I remember Denton saying the fire extinguishers, we put them next to the driver's door. So I jump out, and I'm like, there's no fire extinguishers here. I'm like, what is going on? I pop the bonnet, ready to put it out, and I can't find fire extinguishers. Wind tunnel is still switched on, so I'm trying to walk to the front of the car with this wind tunnel. Anyway, I run to the back, switch the wind tunnel off, open the bonnet, and then woof, these fires going for it. And I'm just like, what am I doing? And you get that freeze moment, like, where you just,
Yeah.
So I run out of the dyno. So I've got the dynos on film, actually. I'm there looking at it, trying to blow it out, looking for fire extinguishers, and I'm like, I'm just going to have to go and get someone. And this is out of my capability now. It's out of my realm. I'm going getting someone. So luckily, Denton had seen it on camera. He was already running towards me. I run out of the dyno, so you see me run out of the dyno, and the car's just sat there on fire. Denton runs, I run back in with Denton. He pushes, I stop at the car, like, look, like, help. Yeah. He pushes me out of the way and runs around the side of the car and gets a fire extinguisher. And I'm like, I was like, you said they were next to the driver's door. And he went, yeah, your car's left on drive. So I'm looking completely the wrong area. He pushes me, and I'm just like, he grabs fire extinguisher and puts it out, and I'm just like, wow. And I'm just like, that got me, that did.
Yeah,
After like 5 years, so I've had Camaro for 5 years now, 6 years, and that was the end goal, is getting this twin turbo 1,000 horsepower wheel horsepower car, and it was done. It was literally done. I'm thinking I've seized it, I've blown it up, and it's on fire now. End of an era. Puts it out, and I'm like, what happened there? And it turns out to be the spark plug leads on LS cars, on LS V8s, run through the exhaust manifolds. Literally just run through them. Now, there's plenty of room there for some reason, but the rubber boots that are on the plug leads just spontaneously combust. And it's really weird. It's always the same two on one side. But because it's now turboed, the exhaust manifolds are getting hotter than they used to be when they were supercharged. So I never encountered it when it was supercharged. And funnily enough, it's always when we break the 1,000 wheel horsepower mark, boom, it's on fire. And it's like, oh. So that was a bit of a scary time. So we sorted it out, didn't really think anything of it. Denton's like, it'll be fine on the road because you've got more wind. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, I'm tuning away again, no worries. And everything actually was fine. We didn't really push it that much. Then we was going for the big horsepower runs, where it was like ramp run. We're not sat there steady state tuning anymore. We was going for a ramp run. So we lock it at 2,000 RPM, floor it, and then let it go. And it just does a full sweep of like a dyno run. And whoa, straight up, way past 1,000 wheel horsepower. So we're like, yes, nice one. Anyway, we see the smoke again. And I'm like, ugh. So we get out, open bonnet, it's on fire again. Oh, yeah, no worries. Oh, no. Denton was like, 1 minute, let me go and get my phone. And I need to take a picture of it. I was like, hey, yeah, sure. I've got fire extinguisher in my hand, looking for my phone to try and get a picture just because whatever. Put it out and was like, right, okay, no worries. Change plug leads again. Right, let's go for another one. Did another one. Boom, on fire again. I'm like, come on. We've not got around it yet, so it's still doing it to this day. Every time I go past 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 wheel horsepower, it sets plug leads on fire. And I don't know what to do.
So, guys, if you're going to door bashes, you can see Chris on fire.
Still,
the Camaro on fire, and he will do signings and take pictures and all the rest of it. It'll be melted at the end of the Rev Up.
Oh, I should see your size at fire extinguisher and boot at Camaro now. Always carry it around with me.
Is Denton going to be running down the track with you behind you?
Pushing me out of the way. You can get a fire extinguisher kit, that you can activate. You can point it under the bonnet. But then my idea was, how do you know it's on fire? And how do you know if you activate it, you're not just going to fill your engine bay with a foot of foam for nothing?
Yeah. When them flames are going up, then you know it's on fire.
Yeah. How long do you leave it? Yeah. How long do you leave it before you press the button? You're like, is it? Isn't it?
When you smell it.
Yes.
Although with you knocking buttons, you said to knock the button. You could be on the start line and then ready, steady.
Yeah. No, I thought a few things, but it's only a recent issue. This literally a couple of weeks ago it happened. So yeah, I've not got a solve. I've not got a fix for it yet. I don't know.
The excitement.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because, we're running 990 wheel horsepower, 900 wheel horsepower all day long. Never set on fire. As soon as we did 1,001 wheel horsepower, boom, on fire. Then we did 1,036, boom, on fire. And I'm like, come on. But, yeah.
Is there nothing that they can do? Because there are other Camaros out there at 1,000 horsepower, aren't there?
There's loads, yeah.
So, is there nobody out there who has the fix for this?
Well, there's been a few options, which I've got a set of plug leads on the way. Now, the rubber boots that I've got ceramic boots coming. But the plug leads aren't as good as the ones I've got. And LSs are really bad for misfires at top end. If you're pushing sort of 1,000, 1,200 horsepower plus, the compression inside the engine is that strong that it tends to arc across the plug lead to the manifold rather than spark the spark plug. Because there's just so much compression inside the engine. So that's the issue. So the plug leads I've got are like super smart coil plug leads, which is the best of the best. So I'm worried that I'm going to go to these ceramic ones and then it's just going to misfire. They're not going to set on fire, they're going to misfire instead. But we'll see. I think they come next couple of days.
You're going to take a set of both?
I'll take as much as I can. In fact, I'll be able to build another engine with the amount of spares I've got.
You might need
just in case.
Well, it was last time. It moves us on to the last time. 2 years ago, we went to Door Slammers, paid my entry fee, went in there. So I drove it down. So I'm a big believer of True Street. Yeah. You should drive to a True Street event because it's a road car. You should drive there and you should drive back, hopefully. So on the way down there, I'm almost there, literally a mile if that from the gate of Santa Pod. The car starts seizing up, just like very, very slow. So I'm like instantly clutching, engine dies, and I'm like, what is going on? This was when it was supercharged. Engine dies, and I'm like, get out, turn it over by hand, as you do, the mechanic wave. Like, if it turns over, it'll start. Turns over nicely. I'm like, fire it up then. Started it up, everything's absolutely fine. And I'm like, well, that was weird. So turn it off, and we dragged it in then because I've got pretty much my garage with me, all my pit stuff. So we get it into the pits, get tent up, get it jacked up, start pulling out bottom end of engine off, and I noticed crank snapped. Literally, the crank snapped in two pieces. So I've got hold of the front end of the crank and the flywheel at the back, and I'm like, yeah, that's not connected. It's like, this is loose here, and that's not connected. And it's still running. It's still, like, it must have keyed together and got stuck together. It's still running, luckily, because the timing chain's on the front. But it was very strange, very strange. So that was the first event, so we just enjoyed watching racing, and now we're back this year to compete properly, and I'm going to tow it, unfortunately, this year. But
Oh no, you're joining the fake Lambo.
I know. It's a shame, but it's the only way I'm going to get to race the damn thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, going on track and stuff like that, like, so many people want to do that. But, like, as you mentioned earlier, it's, like, a bit nerve-wracking once you get there. Like, all
100%.
those eyes on you. And, like, obviously, it's broadcasted, isn't it, this one?
It is. It's broadcasted on TV, It's live as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be live on radio, TV, and the money as well. The money gets to you. There's big money up involved in it now. I try not to think about that when I'm there, but them traffic lights, that tree is just the bane of your life, you know. As soon as in fact, the biggest thing that people do is jump. As soon as you jump, that red light comes on, you've lost, you're out. It's knockout eliminations, so you're out.
Even that adds even another layer. Because that for me, when you just said that, then I was like, oh shit, that's I would probably jump.
Me.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's better to go there and do it than not.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, even if you didn't win anything, at least you've gone, I've been there, done it, and next year we now know. You know, like when you're taking your notes on when you're dynoing it, it's the same thing, isn't it? Build up until you win it.
Yes, true.
You'll have probably gone through about 7 cars by then. But
7 engines.
You'll be going like with a 10 grand check going, this is about a fifth.
I know, why do we do it to ourselves? Like, the engine's worth way more than that, and I'm like, why do we do it? But it's kind of enthusiasts, I suppose.
Well, that thing went through the festival last year, and the thermostat wasn't great on it. And I said to the lad, the lad wanted to borrow it to go through, and he wanted to wave at the crowds and all that kind of stuff. I said, just keep an eye on it. It's a hot day, weren't it, last year?
Oh, yeah.
It was really hot. And I said, it's been temperamental, you know, just watch it for overheating. Anyway, he's filming himself in the car and he's waving at the crowds and all that. Next thing. And I get a phone call on the park. Oh, your car's about to be pushed by the crowd onto the side of the thing. I'm like, the one car in all the procession is mine.
Yeah.
Flipping stuck anyway.
There was another one, weren't there? What was it?
It was it not an old Cobra or something like that?
So. No, there was another one.
Yeah, it was like, it was pulled over on the side of the road, steam coming out the engine. I was like, oh!
It does happen with the older stuff. We have had it in, we had a bit of a drag car actually. I think it was a couple of years before. He decided to do a burnout, didn't he? Vroom, like that, and tyre just went and blew up at the side of the thing. Yeah.
Gosh.
Is that why it was well behaved only last year?
Yeah,
we were driving through
pretty well.
having to sign on the paperwork that's like, you do not drive like this.
Well, we used to have it before the paperwork. We used to have it where people would leave big gaps. So they'd let the car in front set off, and then they would just go and peg it. And each year it got a little bit more and more, especially when the supercars and everything was starting to come. And it just got a little bit touchy with kids and families and all that kind of stuff around. No Harris fencing, everybody's right there on the road. So we had to like kind of chill it out and calm it down. There was a moron in a what they call aerial atom. We had borrowed an aerial atom, and I looked in the mirror because I used to drive in the parade until I started marshalling it, and I literally watched this aerial atom go nearly into the back of this Porsche. But instead of he turned away from the Porsche and went onto the pavement.
The crowd was stood.
That's strange you should say that, because your natural reaction is to avoid another car, even if people are in the way, and I see it a lot.
That's what's happened there,
It's really weird, isn't it? It's like they're almost putting their car's life before somebody else's. I'm like, it's weird that.
You see it a lot.
I think it's that more as well, you're in road mode as well, so your natural instinct on the road is like, I'm not hitting that in front, so I'll dive. And I think you're not really concentrating on what's there and there.
True.
It's that in front of you. You don't want to hit that, so I'm going to go that way or that way. Do you know? So there's a little bit of that going in there.
The other thing that gets me is though, when people are flying through like a parade like that, it's like people are stood at the side of the road to look at your car. If you're flying past them, they're going to be like, I didn't see that.
Because they get into the zone, the festival zone. So what they do is they go, oh yeah, I'm going to show them a car. I'm going to go do it for the crowds. And then all of a sudden they go, I'm
a racing driver.
I'm a racing driver now in Leyland.
It's such a good feeling though to be able to go through like Leyland Town Centre, revving like crazy, and everyone's like, it's so weird. Usually people like shaking their heads. And stuff,
you know what made me laugh when we were driving through last year? I was in your other car.
You was in my other sleek car.
Because mine broke. Let's not get into it. But when we were driving through, people were saying was I in front of you or were you in front of me? I can't remember.
I was in front of you.
You were in front of me. So it was people were saying to you for you to rev, and because yours was noisy and sounded really good, and I was in your crap one behind it. People looking at me going rev it, and I'm going no. But it was like I drove past an old woman and she was there with her kids, and I'm thinking like, oh, better not because she'll probably. And then she stood there going, and I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Rev it.
And I'm thinking, what's going on here? She's the type of person that usually be videoing your car going, reporting you to the council.
Put it on like Buckshaw mums and dads and stuff like that. But they were recording like absolutely cheering.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird because you usually get the complete opposite.
Everybody hates us
until
until we're entertaining.
We do get the odd few who do not like it. And the best, I think I've brought this up before, the best complaint that we had was the woman who got choked out by a Tesla. The fumes off the Tesla when it set off, when it shot off. The fumes off this Tesla, she couldn't breathe. She was choking off it.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Wow.
Do you know what? I'm sat there thinking, has he got this car right here? I didn't realise she was taking the mick.
No, this Tesla shot off and she couldn't breathe
she's
with
coughing.
the fumes and everything like that. I'm like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Do you
On
know?
today's list of things that never
real
happened.
complaint.
Honestly.
But it is a good day. You know, as long as your car, if you do come, don't have it set on fire in the middle of the thing.
Yeah.
Being front car, it ruins the whole parade. Kids crying on the floats and everything.
Who brought that car that's on fire at the front and Chris is just sat there?
He's not coming again. He's not coming again. Resurface all of Leyland's main road.
Yeah, have you done over 1,000 horsepower again? Yeah. Sorry.
I didn't mean to. It was an accident.
Everyone go home.
I had a similar situation this weekend of like people recording, not wanting to rev it. So recently had the sleek. It's got like a straight pipe, and it sounds a bit like a kazoo at the minute.
Blowing.
So just when you let off the revs, it's a little bit You've heard it, haven't you? Yeah.
Trumpety.
I think it needs something else. Adam C was at the side of the road recording.
Chat first.
Yeah. So we were stuck in traffic and he was right next to my car. We had a wide body Lambo door Supra in front of me and a Sora that was really loud. Everyone was taking it in turns to rev their engines and it got to me and I was like, I'm really sorry. This is like my dream. But no, I can't. And I was so gutted.
You should have just done it.
What did you say you had in front of it? A Lambo?
They had Lambo doors on this Supra.
Oh, right. I thought you meant a
And it
Lambo
was like
at
a
Jap
wide
Fest. I was like,
body.
it's the wrong show for that car.
It looked insane. So it was like a proper
Gullwing
wide,
doors, you mean?
Yeah. So it had the doors that went up and he was just like driving like that the whole time because the traffic was so slow. And it was really wide bodied. And we were in this convoy with them like for a good half an hour before. Like a load of really nice cars, and I was like, yeah, he's going to point the camera at me, and I'm going to have to just not go along with it. And I was,
You're going to see an Adam C YouTube video of just going, this car's really nice, oh God, she's boring.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, a Celica he does, doesn't it?
Oh, you're not going to rev? No? Okay.
Good, yeah.
But yeah, I'm waiting for that video to come up because I have a feeling I'll be in it. But yeah.
Excuse me, I'm just dying in the corner from laughing.
Yeah.
Literally, it's going to be a video of you just getting bullied, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I keep on searching it and waiting for it to come on YouTube.
What made you get the Corvette?
Camaro.
Oh my
America.
God, what the hell?
You're going to get hung
Wrong
drunk.
car.
Do you know what?
Wrong
People
car.
call it Dodge. So at least we're on the same sort of
Yeah.
like make, you know,
Yeah.
same Chevrolet, yeah.
Sure.
No, everyone calls it a Dodge Challenger because, I mean, it looks very similar, but
Does it? I don't think it.
it's got the square front end, hasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Hellcat and it's
Yeah.
like, you know. Do you know what made me get it? Different.
Yeah.
Hence why you
'Cause
call
it
it
is.
Corvette, because you don't.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
knows what
yeah,
it is.
yeah, Camaro,
It's
yeah.
complete. It's just different, and
Is Bumblebee not Camaro?
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
of course, yeah.
that's why I don't want to wrap it yellow. I love it yellow. I love yellow cars.
But you don't like Bumblebee?
I do, but I just can't copy it.
They do a Bumblebee edition, don't
They
they?
do actually. Yeah, Transformers edition.
Yeah, Transformers edition.
Which
I thought
is
they did.
Spitting image of Bumblebee.
I've seen it at Carfest. The Chris,
Yeah.
what's he called? Chris Evans thing that he does.
Yeah.
They had that, and then they had, what was he called? The police one.
Oh, that's the black and white one.
Yeah,
the
what's
Shelby
he called?
Mustang. That
Yeah,
one.
what's he called? What's he called?
Don't know what
What's the
it's called.
what's the police car called in Transformers?
Google it.
Oh
Get on
God,
Google.
it's not called not Brigade. No, what's he called? That's gonna do my head
That
in.
will do your head in.
Well, they had them both on the track.
Yeah.
So it was really
Oh,
good
that's
at
cool.
Alton
Yeah,
Park.
yeah.
Yeah, so they had like Bumblebee went
Jason.
out, and then they had Barricade.
That's it.
Barricade.
There you go. You can stop
Yes.
Googling.
So,
The evil one.
so yeah, Barricade was chasing Bumblebee around the track.
That's
And do
cool.
you know what? For the kids, it was meant because they were
Yes.
both professional drivers doing all like the crossing over and
That's
all that.
cool.
But it was good, and that was the first time I saw the Transformers edition Camaro.
Yes.
And to be fair, it was a nice car.
They are nice. They are.
And they've got the full badges on the side, like the
They
film
are.
version.
Yeah. No, they're just different. I only bought it because it's different. And
Yeah.
In fact, from when I was a kid, so the Camaro concept was actually made in 2008, and that's all it was, is a concept. Now the car itself is horrendous to drive. The seating position, you can't see nothing. So the windscreen is that flat, it's like this big. And you literally can't see anything. I'm like, especially being on the wrong side of the road, judging the curb and the front corner of the car, impossible, absolutely impossible. But when 2008, when the concept came out, Chevrolet went, look what we can do. Basically, was like, here's pictures. They built a car of it, and it was ace. In fact, it looks spitting image of what it looks like now. And they went, but it's not going to look like it, is it? Because it's a concept car. And everybody went, nah. In fact, there was like riots and everything in America. You know what Americans like. And they was like, if you do not make that concept car, they're quitting their jobs and everyone was on strike. And Chevrolet was forced into making this concept car. And they said, we can't, the roof line's too low. The engine's not in the right place, it won't pass safety this, safety that. And that's how the Camaro actually came out, the 5th gen, because it looks spitting image of the concept car. Like absolute spitting image, just because loads of people kicked off about it.
Why do they do that with concept cars?
Must be a
They
world
make
first.
it and they just go
Look
like,
what
oh,
we
look
can
at what
do."
we can do for you, but you're not having it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll make this look really, really good, but look how shit it now looks.
100%, yeah. No, it's weird.
Well, yeah, I think we were pretty surprised with the new GTR, weren't we? It was like, it doesn't look much different.
It doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
Just the front bumper with a little bump up.
Somebody over in Japan's gone, we'll just change this bit. That's another couple of million quid. We'll just call it next generation.
Yeah. It's not like an R36, is it? It's like an R35 facelift.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the same body shapes.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
No, strange.
Although, again, they've got similar to America with the Camaro, where the people get very angry when they start changing that car. You know, there's a massive following for the GTR. And,
God, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think they're very careful with what they change on it. I think if they went for a full new look, I think that would be like battleships out and everything, do you know? It'd be kicking off.
It's very idolised over here as well.
It is.
So I touched on it a bit.
Oh, Europe.
Yeah, so I used to have a GTR 35, and the way people treat you differently, it's weird. Like I'll be honest, my GTR got more attention than the Camaro. Like tons more attention.
They do though. It's just because they've built up such a reputation now. When they're in there, like the GT league, racing against Lambos and Ferraris and stuff. And I think when they started to do all that, the Nismo team, I think that brought them up another level, you know, because they are supercar beaters. They are a kind of a supercar.
They're an underdog, aren't they?
Yeah, they are a supercar, really. Do you know? And they are a weapon. And the stuff, like with the Camaro, the stuff that you can do to them is like, there's some right beastie stuff out there. You see the Liberty Walk ones and all that, and they are weapons. You know, there's some proper stuff out there.
Maintenance cost. Insanely high.
Is it big on them?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to offend someone, but Jap at the minute, crap. You know, they just break and break and break. And I mean, I've brought my Camaro, but it's never physically stopped driving. Yeah. GTR every week. Every single week. Engine light, don't stop. In fact, it ended up throwing a rod out, the engine, and final straw, it threw a rod out, and I was like, that's it, done. So yeah, no, every gearbox issues. Every week. 500 quid, 600 quid. I'm just working to fix this thing.
Yeah.
What do you do as a job?
So I'm actually an MLT tester mechanic, but I run a garage. I'm actually a workshop manager of a mainstream garage. And then I've got other bits as well, but just side
you literally just go there to work for the Camaro.
Yeah. Like I was saying, my life evolves around that. In fact, I became a mechanic just so I could fix it, just so I could build a car.
So you're more like a doctor for the car.
100%. That's all I became a mechanic for.
The car's just like in a wheelchair kind of position.
I sat there
you're
going,
the carer.
You're welcome. Yeah. Going to bed now. Oh, the amount of late nights I've done, it's bad. It's really bad.
He gets up in the morning, I am going to break this. Let's make his life out like this.
Yes, I don't really do mechanicing as much now, but yes, I'm a mechanic MLT tester. I run the garage now. I've got my own place as well, so I've got my own garage that I play around with. And again, that is probably just for the Camaro. So I've got my whole toolbox and ramp, full on running garage, and the Camaro sat in the middle of it like waiting. No, I use it for other stuff as well, but.
There you go, Misha. Every time the Celica breaks on you now.
You won't get in. You'll be there every 2 days. Some customer with a Camaro is there every week.
You're not allowed to park in there anymore because Misha will be in there every day or two.
We've decided to do the night tonight with the door open, haven't we? And it's you can now actually feel that cold, can't you? Coming in. It's gone from a really sunny night to now.
Oh, it's been so nice though, the weather.
Yeah, that's today.
Just going out and driving, like nighttime drives in this weather is so nice.
What is it like?
Loving it.
Yeah, what is that like though in the weather? Because with it being 1,000 brake horsepower and wide and American, how is that in the wet? Or even at night?
All right, it's very strange. So you think of like 1,000 horsepower, it's 1,000 wheel horsepower as well. So it's more like 1,300 horsepower. And it's manual, so it's not. As soon as you lift that clutch up, you're locked into gear. You've got the 1,000 horsepower locked to the rear wheels. Auto, you get a bit of sponginess, a bit of but manual, sequential manual, so it's sequential box, so you're banging it into gear. I'll be honest, it's absolutely great. And I sort of give credibility to people who have set it up and taught me how to set geometry of cars up. So the back wheels are dead straight, there's no camber on the back wheels. So you've got the full contact patch of the rear tyres. So you've got maximum grip. Learning about gear ratios as well. So gear ratios, believe it or not, help you massively. So my gear ratio will do 70 mile an hour in first gear, my Camaro. So it allows you to actually put the power down without just like running out of RPM or without it just spinning or whatever. Second does 110. It's absolutely insane, the gear ratios in it. So it sort of calms it down a little bit. So you get that surge where you don't have to keep banging through gears all the time. But the grip is pretty all right, you know, and it's not too bad. Everyone says, oh, it'd be stupid. You can't use that power with it being rear wheel drive, but it's set up right and it's got a full drag pack underneath it. I mean, underneath it's like big subframe braces, chassis braces, ladder braces, and the arms and everything are all solid. It's all cambered up right, like I said, and it's got a rear end drag package on it, so it's meant for grip. So it's not bad, and it's smooth. And I mean, when people see it sliding out of like just corners and stuff, it's so fingertippy. It's like a drift car. It's literally just very fingertippy, and it'll come back on you, and it's set up absolutely perfect. So it's all right. Apart from you can't see anything, but it's all right.
I don't need to see where I'm going.
Exactly.
I just need to know where I'm going.
It was very much like in the Aventador when we was at NEC, and bringing that back in the weather, and it was like hammering it down. And I thought that would have been horrendous to drive back, and it wasn't. It was pretty good, but again, the vision in that is like what you've got. It was, you couldn't see anything because you've got a window that big in the back here behind you.
Oh yeah, that's useless. Yeah,
you know, and then you've got this window that's like literally flat like that, and it was just like midnight, flipping tired after doing 5 days at a show, driving down the motorway, just constantly thinking you got 450 grand sat here.
Yes.
And then you've got every single person after the show driving past, hanging out the window, trying to take pictures and videos, and you're going, please don't, just hold on.
Pressure.
So, yeah.
I saw Misha's eyes light up when she saw 70 mile an hour in first gear.
That's just blown my mind.
It's insane, isn't it? Makes
Yeah,
good for
that's
0 to 60
crazy.
times. One
Well,
gear.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
You're always banging on about, I can do 40 in first in my sleep. You've been outdone here.
Oh yeah, big time.
Sounding like a kazoo.
Yeah, it's awful at the minute.
So 0 to 60, so tyres make a massive difference. So the quickest 0 to 60 I've got is 2.9 seconds. So I want it in twos. For a rear drive car, that is insane.
Yeah.
But I admit I cheat with drag radials. Complete out and out drag radial slicks that you'd not. Yeah, you warm up and they turn like jelly and it just grips. Road tyres is like 5 seconds. It's horrible.
Really?
You literally just lift clutch up, granny it to 60, and so yeah, you look about 5 seconds. So
And
you're
what
cheating, 2.9.
What tyres are you allowed to use at the strip?
So I can use these drag radials.
Oh, right,
They're
so-
called Mickey Thompson Street ETs, and they are a track purpose drag radial tyre. So they DOT. They've got dot codes, but essentially. So that's the get out of jail free card. It's got a dot code. It's road legal. In the UK, they're not road legal. In America, they are road legal.
And does that so that still classes over here in that race?
Yeah, so they actually specify what tyres you can use. They
Right.
say any normal Michelin Bridgestone road tyre use, but then underneath it says Mickey Thompson Street ETs are permitted because they say street on them. So
If I was one of the big guys, I would be questioning that.
True.
You know, because it is supposed to be like you're shutting your doors, but you can have these tyres that we use, you know. So that is a bit of one of them, isn't it?
There is
But
so
it is what
many,
it is.
like rules and stuff like that, isn't there?
Flipping out, we have.
No, they do if somebody cheats. Like, say a cheat. If somebody comes in and annihilates the field and they just go, why is that annihilated the field? They'll look at why, and if they have put some ridiculous tyre that nobody's ever heard on before, they probably will bring them next year and say, right, yeah, they're not permitted.
Yeah.
But I literally, because it says street on the side, everyone argued and was like, it says street. You can't deny that is a street tyre. So it was like, okay. Then. But then everybody runs them, so everyone's sort of like bumped up the
Yeah, so
pack.
they're all
Yeah.
on a par.
And it makes it safer as well, because if I'm going down Santa Pod with stupid horsepower on Michelin tyres, it's just going to spin up in every single gear, and you're going to be going down like a drifter at 100 and silly mile an hour, and there's walls there that hurt. So I'd rather stick to it.
Yeah.
They might tickle. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know till you find out.
He's going to be on the start line with foam coming out his engine.
Yeah.
It don't matter what tyre he's got.
Foam coming out the engine in the wall being tickled. It's going to be a mad day.
Sounds like a good night out.
To be fair though, when we were at USC, there was that Super that went down the track, and I don't know what power that was running, but that ended up. Was that the one that ended up in the wall, or was that the one that broke down? I can't remember.
I don't think I watched that one. Might have
Did you
been with.
Was it not with you?
No.
There was a Super that went down the strip, and actually no, I think that was the one that broke. It set off, and front end lifted, and as soon as it set off, I saw the front end lifted, it just dropped again, and I was like, oh! I saw it roll off to the side of the track, and we went around the back later on, and he had the whole bottom end of the car off, and I was like, oh no, that's gone.
Yeah.
That's completely gone.
Because it is
Shivering.
mad when you see some of these cars. You see it in Le Mans where some of these cars, they literally just take off like a piece of paper. It's mental. All that weight is just straight up in the air and back down again.
Yeah. There's one race, probably that one you saw. He won the race as well because he didn't cross the line. As long as you don't cross the line and you break the beams at the end. In fact, no, he didn't break the beams, and they was like, well, did he win or not? Because he went over the beams in the air, but he won. He went through the traps first, so there was a massive uproar about that, and I didn't know the outcome of it. But yeah, he took off. It's very strange because it can be planted, then all of a sudden cars just go up. It's like, why is it good? It's not a rocket. That's one scariest thing, apart from.
Yeah.
I hope that name doesn't continue and prove itself on the track. The one scary other thing apart from hitting a barrier is going up. So the Camaro's got wheelie control, so to stop that happening. So if the front end does come up and the ECU detects that it's tilting, it'll pull timing out of the engine to lower itself back down.
Okay.
Just for safety, really.
Well, that's pretty good.
Do you know what? It makes you drive sensible. Because my GTR, I was throwing it around corners. So the GTR is so easy to drive, like insanely easy to drive. It drives itself. It's got 30 odd computers watching everything.
Yeah.
I was going through town sensors at going, right hand turn, left hand turn, and I was like, right, park it up, get out. And I've just been doing 18 or 30. I'm stupid, but because it was so easy to drive and so comforting, you just do it. In the Camaro, I drive it 12 mile an hour everywhere. 12 miles an hour, I'm like, yeah, this could kill me. It feels like it could kill me. So yeah, it calms you down a bit. The fuel bill, no. In fact, I data logged it the other day, and I was watching cruising in Camaro, and it was like 7.2 miles to the gallon, and I'm like, I can live with that. You don't drive a 7-litre V8 for nothing. I can live with that. And then when you start getting on it a bit, I'm like 4, 3, I'm like 2. I'm like, oh Jesus, 1.2 miles to the gallon. That's what? 7 quid a mile. When you're on it,
ridiculous.
It's bad. I estimate £1 a mile. When I go out, I estimate how far's that? About 20 mile. Put 40 quid in it to get there and back. 100%. It's £1 a mile. Very American, yeah, just not American fuel prices.
Yeah, I'd have been bankrupt in a week with the amount of places that I drive.
Why do you think my Daily's a diesel?
Yeah, true. I miss my diesel so much.
So we have recently just popped a post on Instagram as well, just asking for some stories as well. So this is the story section of the podcast that we introduced last time. So what is the theme for this week's stories that are coming in, Corey?
I can't remember exactly what I read. Like, no, was it something like craziest experience in a car or something like that?
Experience, yeah. So craziest experience in a car. So we've got quite a few answers here that people have submitted. So we've got weaving under braking at 170 mile per hour.
Beep.
Yeah.
100.
That's a little bit scary. So another one that we've had through is had a few. So had a BMW flip on its roof, leaving Mackey's, and land in front of me whilst driving, leaving Mackey's.
How fast was he going in
I mean,
Mackey's?
how fast is this
BMWs
drive
don't do those kind of things.
Yeah. Is he not saying that he was in Mackey's, that he was pulling out, and then somebody's landed on the roof as they've been pulling out? That's what that sounds like.
Landed on the roof? On the roof
of
Mackey's?
I don't think he's landed on the roof.
I think he witnessed it.
I think he's witnessed as he's coming out of Mackey's and he's eating his Big Mac, a BMW's just landed in front of him.
It's probably Chris's one series.
That was Chris.
I did crash that.
And that was the end of the one series.
Yeah.
Was the McFlurry coming out the engine?
Have you seen this one? It says, rolled a Clio 172 on Snake Pass with 4 people in the car after an hour.
Do Jesus. That's when it gets like scary though. So when you've got people in the car, like you've got to be so careful, because if you're on your own and you're just having a bit of fun, it's completely different if you're responsible for other people in the car as well. I think that's really scary.
What else is there?
Digging through some more.
They egg you on though sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. And it's like, I think I don't know if it's just me, but do you drive differently with other people in the car?
Yeah,
So what?
massively.
I always feel like a bit like on edge if I've got people in the car with me.
Yeah. I mean, you usually have that one time where you show off for a second and you go, that's what it can do, and then you chill out.
Yeah.
Someone's
so
put skidding into a rock banking and nearly flipping the car.
Oh, jeez.
A lot of flipping going on.
There's a lot of these people you've got, the banger racers.
You guys do realise that flipping cars is supposed to be selling them and not flipping them?
Yeah.
Wrong type of flipping. Has anyone flipped a car here?
I've never flipped a car. I've never been in an accident in my own car.
I've never been. No, that'd be a lie. I've never been in a serious accident in my own car. I've reversed through a caravan. Well,
through a caravan?
Not into, through.
I've had an employee drive straight through that wall.
Oh no!
So yeah, he flipped the car into gear, and the Audi just about to be delivered to a customer. Just bought it, happy birthday present, and everything like that.
No.
And he literally, I was in the office upstairs, and it was like bang, the biggest bang, the whole building shook, and he had gone straight through there. Took the toilet out, the wall out, everything.
Be grateful your office didn't come down with it.
I know, yeah. And then another one that I had was up at a dealership, and the lad decided he was going to help the transport driver take cars off the back of the transporter.
That's
so he
dangerous.
jumps into the car, no keys, handbrake off, and it was like a roller coaster, literally down the back of the thing, straight through the pitch and straight through into the showroom. He smashed it through a £10,000 window, sliding window. This was a brand new Suzuki Swift. I can laugh about it now. Into two more brand new cars in the showroom. Well,
No keys.
No keys.
So steering lock was on.
Steering lock was locked on, and
no.
he just literally set off and panicked as he's gone down, not thinking about ripping the handbrake on or anything like that. He's literally panicked and just set off like a roller coaster, literally. And that's not the end of the story.
Oh God.
I know what happens.
You know what happens, don't you? So the next bit of the story is 2 weeks later and £17,000 later, after windows have been replaced and everything's been done, I get a phone call from the same boss who went, "Do you believe in lightning striking twice?" And I went, "Oh, what do you mean? Don't take the mick. You know, this is not funny. It was very expensive." He went, "Well, your other valet has decided to drive through that very shiny brand new window because he thought it was shut. He thought it was open, sorry, and it was shut. So he drove straight through the £10,000 window
Again.
Buy one, get one free, maybe.
Yeah, it was buy one, get one free that week. And it was just like, flippy, I just give up.
Cheaper if you buy them in bulk.
Yeah, we'll not buy another one, and windows, we'll just leave it open.
Yeah. Flipping nightmare. So never mind. No flipping on roofs, though, or anything like that.
I rode a car recently.
Did you?
Yeah, so I've never rode a car in my life, and I've always sort of like said to somebody, "How do you roll a car?"
Yeah.
And it's like it's hard. Well, I thought it was hard to roll a car. It's like they're heavy.
Yeah.
How do you get them off the wheels? And yeah, I just came around the corner. It was in an Audi, and came around. So it was a 60 mile an hour road. I'm doing 50, so I'm not speeding or anything.
Yeah.
Beep, and then coming around this corner. No, actually, generally speaking, coming around this corner, and there was a Range Rover just stopped in the middle of the road. Solid white lines on both sides, so technically no stopping allowed. So I'm coming around this corner, and I was like, well, I'm going to hit him if I don't do anything about it. Well, I touched the brakes and it black ice. So 1st of January, New Year's Day, on the way to work, come around this corner, touch my brakes and I feel it skidding, just ABS kicking in. I'm like, right, I'm going to go into the back of him. What's on the other side of the road? Oh, a Mini's coming this way. Hopefully this Mini doesn't do anything and just goes past so I can get round it on the other side, overtake him. Mini stops because she sees me skidding. She stops next to the Land Rover, so blocks the road completely.
Oh, no.
All right, what's on the other side? A farm. Just a farm. Right, I'm going into the field then. No worries, turning into the field. Bumped up the curb, ready to go through this field and just get out and be like, why are you stopped? Clip this tree and just hit this tree literally head on at like 50 mile an hour because there's no brakes. And the car just literally, it's very slow motion, just went and tipped on its side. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm like, I remember sat there, all changes on glass door, and I remember sat there thinking, what the hell's just happened? No way. In fact, I remember as it's going over going, this isn't going to tip over. Nah, surely not. This is tipping over. This is going on its roof. I'm like, oh my God. Before you know it, I'm on my roof, and then luckily the passenger door came off for some reason. It must have had in fact it did have a faulty door latch. You could never shut it properly. So the passenger door came off completely, bent over. So anyway, I climbed out and I was like, oh, what were you stopped there for? And luckily he contacted me insurance. I think it was dodgy. He contacted me insurance, tried to claim off me because I did tap his car. Tried to claim off me. I told my insurance it was where he was stopped, and then he just disappeared. And was like, insurance was like, yeah, if you want money, take us to court. And he just backed off, luckily. But yeah, that's the only time I rolled a car. I never thought how easy it would be to roll a car, but such slow motion.
It's weird how it goes in slow motion.
I've never rolled one. I had a scary thing on the motorway a few weeks ago where a van driver had literally just pulled. We were going whatever speed down in the fast lane up to Warrington, and this van, he just did not use his mirrors. He couldn't have. And 3 cars in front of me. This Mercedes driver must have had brilliant, he was just able to slam on and not hit this van because he literally just pulled like that straight out. But then the car behind him and then me. And I slammed on. I've never seen the car with all the lights flashing and all that. And then just remember looking in the mirror and this X5 with its indicators going like that, like they do. Yeah. And luckily he stopped. But that was the scariest I've had.
I've ended up on the other side of the road in a 350Z before, which was quite scary as a passenger. So someone trying to overtake someone, just getting a bit too, giddy, saw a fast car and was like, oh yeah, let's overtake. And then just completely started swerving and just completely ended up doing a complete 180 to the other side of the road onto oncoming traffic and in a ditch at the other side of the road. And that was a bit oh great, yeah. But it's funny how it does all slow down and you kind of trying to figure out where you're going to end up, what's going to happen, what do you do, and it's like you're in a film and everything just goes into slow motion. It's weird.
I've been a passenger in a couple of crashes.
Yeah.
I've had one where many years ago, and it was in an E-Reg Fiesta. Well, that shows how old I am.
I don't even know what year that is.
So a friend of mine, he passed his test, got these little Fiesta. He was loving life, and he pulls out in this junction. This woman hits us in the side, and I smacked my head on the window so hard. And she crashed into us in a brand new Mondeo and literally just come out the dealership in. She'd literally had it less than 20 minutes and she piled into the side of us. And the other one before that was one my mum's always told me about was my mum pulled out in a junction, hit a money van, which ripped the front end of her car off. And she said, I'll never forget it because you were in the back going, we've crashed. Yeah. She's devastated. Half the car's spread across the road. And I'm in the back going, yeah, we've crashed.
I was in my grandma's car with her once, and we were literally one street away from our house. And my grandma had been to pick me up from the train station. I was 15 at the time. I'd been ice skating with my friend. She came and picked me up from the train station. We were driving back home, street in front of my house, like I said. And this woman, there's a car stopped to the other side, so there's only enough room for one car to get through the middle of these parked cars on both sides of the road. So this car's flashed us to go through. So my grandma's gone to go through and just carried on. And there was a woman that was at the side of the road that was waiting to set off, and she thought they'd flashed her to set off. So she pulled out, and my grandma just pile drive straight into the side of the car. I'm sat in the front of my grandma, so we've literally hit this car, and as she's hit it, it's pushed it out of the way and into a load of parked cars on the side of the road. So my grandma's obviously pulled up on the curb further down the road. The whole front end of the car just folded in on itself. The wheels were in the arches, under the doors.
They say not to flash people, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah, she won't go through if someone flashes her now. She's traumatised. Yeah. But yeah, I got out of the car and I walked over to this car that she'd hit to go and see if everyone was all right, because my grandma was sat in the car crying her eyes out, bless her, because she freaks out at anything. Even someone could say boo to her and she'd cry. So she's just been in a crash, so she's crying her eyes out. Walks down to this other car and the woman goes, "Were you driving?" I'm literally this big. Literally this big. 14, 15 years old. And I was like, no. And she was like, well, I've got my kids in the car. And I was like, well, you pulled out. At the time, bear in mind, 15. And I'm already telling her that she was in the wrong. And then they settled it when they were there and said that they were going to do it as she was at fault because she pulled out and she didn't have her lights on when she pulled out. So my grandma had obviously gone into the side of it because she hadn't seen her coming out because she had no lights on. So they settled that while they were there speaking, and then I think it was like just under a year later, my grandma got a claim through in the post saying that she was saying it was all her fault. It was all my grandma's fault because my grandma was speeding, and I was like, my grandma is not capable of speeding. The woman sets off in second. She's not capable at all. She might as well drive with a handbrake on.
It's a good tip that, because I've been in this situation where I've had somebody hit my car. The best thing you can do basically is record something. So I've been in a situation, I was in a white BM. It was a hire car, funnily enough, and I was turning right at a junction, and the traffic lights went red. So I seen the traffic lights went red. So this Megane was braking for the traffic lights. So I set off to go right. As I went right, he accelerated instead, and he literally rear-ended the back of the car, spun me completely around, but then he shot off, disappeared. So I'm like, not a chance. So I started car, luckily it was still running. I went chasing him, and I pulled up and I seen him on the side of the curb. Megane was just smoking, overheating and all that. So he's pulled over. Megane had no front bumper on it. So I whipped my phone out to record, but I had it down the side of me. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, you pulled in front of me, it's your fault. And I'm like, you've just T-boned me, you just ran off. You've literally just ran off. Why did you run off? Oh, I weren't driving, it's her car. Yeah, so everything's dodgy anyway. So I'm just like, whatever. So I record everything. And lucky I did, because that recording was my evidence of him driving, because he admitted it in the end. He went, oh, right, yeah, sorry, it was my fault, but we'll just call it quits or whatever. I'm like, you've just wrote this 3 Series off. It's a write-off. Back wheels touching, boot lining. And it went to insurance, and the insurance blamed me for it. It was like, you pulled in front of him. He said he went through a green light. So I have no proof that he didn't. He said he went through a green light and you pulled in front of him. I went, right, here's the recording then. So I sent the recording, and him basically admitting it was fault, and it got me out of it. And I actually got paid out for the car instead of him. So yeah, I advise just record everything.
Yeah, well, we've had it. We've because I've had a lot of members of staff, a lot of vehicles through work and stuff. And one of the worst ones was there was no damage on the car. So one of the lads, the girl in front had gone to set off on the roundabout. He'd gone to set off. It was very raining like mad. It was dark. It was winter, and he's literally just tapped her. That's it. When the assessor came to come and look at the car, he actually said to me, it's an offence to like hide anything and all that. And I'm like, that's the car. And he goes, well, there's only a broken number plate, like a crack, literally a crack on the number plate. I went, that's the car. Check the VIN number, check the number plate. That is it. I was like, there's nothing. Anyway, she still got paid out for whiplash, time off work, the whole shebang. I went mad. Yeah. I went absolutely mad. I went, how is this? In fact, one of the members of staff actually went round, just without even, obviously we didn't know all this, because it was the future. And he actually went round the next day to see if she was all right, because she'd left her address and everything. He went, oh, her dad came to the door. I went, oh no, she's at work. She's at the such and school where she works. So I remember saying to the insurance company, listen, she was at work. Have you no evidence of it? So just a lad who's been round to knock on the door, his word against hers, Yeah. It's like, really?
It's a sad world, yeah.
Pay money out like that?
Yeah.
Flipping mental.
They have cracked down a bit on insurance now.
Yeah, it's changed. So yeah, it's changed a lot since then. We're talking like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago when I had all the staff working for me, which I'll never do again. We've had all sorts of cars go here, there, and everywhere. Well, it's that time week again. It's Corey's Corner.
Obviously, I'm here this week, so Tim just thrown that across the table. Let me thanks for that, Tim.
It's all right.
Do you guys want to start, or shall I start? It's up to you.
You start. It's your
You
corner.
want me to start? So they've built some houses at Silverstone. I don't know if you've seen about it. It's a 14-acre development next to the track, and all the houses overlook the track. But they've put this thing out where if you buy a house, you get discounted hospitality rates, discounted track use. There's lots of different things. So you invest in this house, and it says on there you'll get returns from it. For the 1.2 million people that go and visit the track every year, you'll get a return from that as well. So it's like an investment in a weird way. But you get discounted track use, like I said. You get discounted hospitality. They've got a gym on site. So you get use of everything, and you get use of the new hotel that they're building as well. So you can use all the stuff that's inside the hotel, and just a mad thing that they're doing.
So these are holiday homes, not permanent homes.
Because
I think that the novelty would wear off pretty quick. I live next to Shelswick Way, where we hear everything go down there.
Yeah.
Whom, whom. And I think if I'd have lived next to Silverstone's racetrack, after a week, I'd be going, I wish I'd never bought this house.
Well, you get free tickets to go and look at the track as well, like to be next to it.
But once
for all
you've
the
looked at
major
it
events.
5 or 6
Yeah,
times,
true.
then you're going to go, why have I spent
That is
300
true.
grand?
But to be fair, the people that are buying properties like that are probably the people that would use it twice a year. So.
Yeah.
It'd be a good thing. It would be a good investment. Obviously, when you've got Formula One, MotoGP, all the different touring cars, all them kinds of things.
you
If
could
you
sell
Airbnb'd it,
Yeah.
then flipping
Yeah.
it,
I
they'd
was
be
gonna
worth
say,
a fortune. Yeah.
That's what they're going to be. They're going to
Yeah, I
be rental
think that's-
properties like
yeah.
Airbnb
Yeah, they will be.
properties. £1,000 a night for a balcony to watch F1.
Imagine you get.
Yeah.
Nah, they won't know.
No, I don't think. I think that's what they'll be for. I think that is exactly what they'll be, unless you
Yeah.
get this guy down here.
Well, I
buying
think
one,
that,
flipping it.
that might be what they mean with the return of the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I can imagine that is
true.
the return of investment
Yeah.
will be the renting of them out, because I can't imagine anybody wants to live next to a racetrack full time.
No.
I wouldn't mind.
Oh no, the Camaro's ended up on the track again. Oh no, it's on fire again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That back fence will be taken out.
Garage opens and it's just on the track.
How much are these houses then? Do we know a
It
price?
doesn't say. There's no prices on there yet.
They
It's
might not
still
release
in development,
prices
isn't
yet.
it?
I bet they'll be expensive though.
You'll be talking millions.
Well, you're already talking. The area alone's worth a lot of money, even
Yeah.
not next to the track. So
Yeah.
they'll be worth. And if they are holiday homes as well, they'll be worth even more. So
I can't see them. Would that increase the price of the house or decrease it though? They sounds like they're
With the
giving a lot
noise.
of perks
Yeah.
because they're next to the track. So I don't know. That one's gonna be very strange.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
But I bet that hotel will be quite expensive though, that they're building right now, the hotel.
I'm guessing it will
'Cause,
be. It's on
yeah,
Silverstone.
yeah.
Well, I've stopped-
Anything at Silverstone's expensive.
I've stopped at Wiltshire Park a couple of times, which is the main hotel at the moment. I stopped to. Was very lucky to stop in the Princess Diana bit,
Yeah.
and with the letter on the wall, and it's her actual
Really?
letters on the wall, and flipping place is amazing. That Wiltshire Park, we were there, and all the Ferraris were outside the front door. You got the beautiful spa and all that kind of stuff going on, and it's just, and they got the Aston Martin bar.
Oh,
Just to
really?
add a bit of flavour to the place to make it sound rich. But yeah, so I can't imagine what the new hotel's going to be like.
I've just looked as well, and it says on here that the people that buy the properties, they get like invites to like Silverstone events, like where they travel to do different things, different like motorsport-based events as well. It's another cool thing that you can get with it.
Yeah, it's going to be very exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like an invite-only like club sort of thing.
Yeah.
Go on the business account, this. Buy one of them.
So
Yeah.
talking of Silverstone, so we recently had that emergency alert that everyone probably got on Sunday, which is that new trial. But what happened when I got the alert is I was actually at Silverstone at Japfest, and it was just absolute chaos. Like, it just echoed absolutely in every direction that you could possibly think of. I think we was on like just thousands and thousands of people nearby.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what's going on? Everyone was panicking. Everyone was like, what's happening? Like, it was like something out of The Purge.
I
It
remember
was scary.
as soon as it went off, when I was just sat in bed. It went
Yeah.
off and I was just sat there and I was like, oh, that weren't that bad. And then I thought about it and I remember thinking to myself, Misha's at Japfest. I bet that was chaos.
Yeah.
What
it
are we
was.
actually expecting with this? Because we've lived, people have lived on this island for over, I don't know,
we're getting Putined.
5,000 years. Do you know? And it's like they're saying it's for like floods and wind and all that kind of stuff.
I think they're trying to areaise it as well, so it's going to be sort of like the idea that they were saying that I got anyway, is they're going to target certain areas. So like stuff that maybe happens in Manchester and stuff that you need to stay away from, they're going to target Manchester and be like, warning, stay away from such a place, so you can
Yeah.
actually, stay away from somewhere.
Yeah, it's like a threat of life. It's
Like,
like a
Yeah,
for
threat of life.
information
kind of thing.
purposes,
Yeah,
so you get
yeah.
your information through your phone to know either walk that way or walk that way.
Yeah.
So this could be everything, and it might not be
anything.
just. It might not be like Putin's just rocked up with his big fat gun, and it could be just as I don't know. There could be something going on in a designated area like Manchester, like you said.
Yeah,
Stay away from that area.
yeah.
Right. Well,
But it's weird because
I'm not as worried now.
the opposite side of effect that you got, where it caused mass panic,
Yeah, it
which obviously
did.
it would do if you was in a crowd like you. I experienced when I was out in like the streets. Only seen 3 or 4 different people, and literally I just seen them go, put it back in the pocket.
Really?
Nobody was bothered whatsoever. They just carried on like.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, going back to mass panic, we have the news that JLR or Jaguar Land Rover are looking at dropping the Land Rover name. So that has caused mass panic within the 4x4 world and other people. You were saying that your girlfriend works there? Not girlfriend. Oh, one of her friends. Yeah. Oh, you're divorced now.
That's
an edit.
That'll be getting edited. Yeah, but
One of my other.
So anyway, the name Land Rover, they're thinking of getting rid of it.
Why?
Do we know what to or what?
Just a JLR. That's it.
So they're going to be called JLR.
JLR. you know,
SVR.
Yeah,
What numbers coming out
Their
now?
argument is that nobody calls it a Land Rover Range Rover.
Do you know what?
So,
Yeah.
but then
Who's
Land
gonna call it
Rover is the
JLR?
historic brand. You know, historic brand is Land Rover. It always has been. You know, it's going to be a Land Rover Defender still, isn't it? So it's going to
gonna
be
be
forward.
JLR
JLR,
Defender.
yeah, JLR Defender.
I quite like that, you know.
You only get one shot.
So it'll be in B&M Bargains discount bin. You can get a Range Rover for £1 at the B&M Bargains.
From a mechanic background, Land Rovers and Range Rovers are like, ugh,
Yeah.
fixing them. So when they call them JLRs, yeah, they just change. As soon as I hear Land Rover and Range Rover, I just shy away, I turn off. I mean, I like them, but I just wouldn't ever have one or work on one. So JLR is probably a nice change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's another one of those British icons leaving town again, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
I personally won't be calling anything a JLR.
No.
No.
I don't call anything like you say. I don't call anything a Land Rover, Range Rover. It'll still just be a Range Rover. It's not going to be a JLR Range Rover. It's just a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
they're trying to bring the Jag name into it as well.
Everybody
Yeah,
in my town's called it the Reebok Stadium ever since it's been the Reebok Stadium. It's changed its name from the Macron to the University of Bolton Stadium, but everybody
Yeah.
who's from Bolton calls it the Reebok.
I just call it Middlebrook.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
the retail
shopping,
part's
yeah.
different.
Yeah, it doesn't
that's
matter. It's
football.
on there, innit? It's attached to it.
Kinda.
And I'm from Bolton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just call it Middlebrook.
Right.
Don't live there anymore, thank God. But
I don't live there anymore either.
everyone runs away, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm from Bolton as well.
Oh, yeah.
Did you run away?
I'm not from Bolton. I'm from St Anne's.
We've got 3 Bolton boys on the table here.
Oh,
Oh, well, yeah, the
God, yeah.
local one did. Yeah, the local one decided to burn itself. Well, didn't decide it to burn itself down, but it did. And now there's no more.
Yeah, I drove past it the other day and they've got everything out on the forecourt now, haven't they, rather than being inside.
Have they?
Yeah, they've pushed and they've not got anything expensive now. I think they've sold it all.
Any Camaros?
nope. No.
So, that might be why the building's set on fire.
Oh, they're doing 1,000 horsepower as well. Do you know what? I think it was the same week. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So one of my friends works there, and I remember him saying in the morning, because I work, in fact, I work pretty much next to it on the docks in Preston.
I worked on the
And
docks in Preston. How scary.
very convenient. Camaro was away at the time of the accident. Yeah, and he rang me and he said, yeah, I'm still going into work. So they've just closed it off, the fire brigade and everything there. So I'd like, we'll just still rock up. And I'm like, but the building's burnt down. He's like,
Well, the actual mechanics part hasn't, has it? That's not been touched. I don't think it was these showrooms that went down. So
it's not been really like gone over. So I don't even know what happened there.
No.
What was the fire? No, nothing's really been released.
from somebody had mentioned, now this is speculation, that it was the solar panels that they had fitted. It was a faulty solar panel because everyone was going, oh, it would be one of the electric cars.
Do you
and I
know
don't
what?
think
That's
I
it
what
was
I heard.
waiting for that.
That was what I got told.
Every electric
Yeah, well,
car sets on
everybody
fire.
was. I think that was like the thing that it's the
Yeah.
most obvious thing. And
Yeah.
you see all these e-scooters setting on fire and stuff like that. But I think it was nothing to do with the actual brand or the cars or anything like that. Maybe it was a fanatic who was so sick of the name being dropped, so he went down and burnt the place down. It could have been that.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. I'll let you plug your socials and let everyone know where to find you.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for having me. It's been fun. So you can find most of the stuff on @thebuiltcamaro Instagram. The full builds on there, even live videos of probably door slams when it's coming up.
Yeah.
If you want to add me on Facebook as well, bits and bats on there, like what I do and what I get to. It's Chris Nasser on Facebook. And that is about it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thank you to everyone for watching. You can find us online at www.talktupodcast.co.uk, Instagram @talktup_, Facebook @talktupodcast, Twitter is talked_up. And for all our listeners on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that, just to let you know, this is available on YouTube with video format if you do want to look at our ugly faces. And vice versa, the other way around. Thanks for joining us. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.